Ladies and gentlemen.
Hey guys, and welcome back to My Life's a Joke, the podcast where life hands us chaos and we serve it back with a side of sarcasm. I'm Rachel, and today's episode is deeply personal. It's about love, trauma, and survival, and it features my favorite sister in the whole world, Annemarie.
Woo!
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Rach. Sorry, I didn't know it was my part. You can cut that out. Hi, thanks for having me on the cast. Oh my God, I'm so excited. It's my first time doing a podcast after years of listening to podcasts nonstop. Now I'm finally on one.
Welcome.
Hi. Thank you.
Okay, guys, so today we're just going to be jumping into the story about Annemarie. And basically, you guys know that this podcast is kind of about relationships and like traumas that we've been going through these last couple of episodes. We've been talking a lot about getting through relationships and like seeing the light on the other side. So, this is Annemarie's story of her 8-year relationship with a guy who was pretty toxic. He really had this mask on and made us all believe he was something that he was not for 8 years. So how did you feel about that?
Yeah. First off, I want to talk about like Rachel. God, okay, so Rachel and I are about 10 years apart. So I can only imagine how you viewed this relationship being a young little girl, and like now coming out of this I'm like, wow, like my whole reason for even telling this story or like wanting to talk about this story is to show young girls that like you don't need to put yourself through things like this. So I'll dive in, but Rach, again, I want to apologize because I can only imagine how you viewed this. It sounds scary now talking about it, and like to a, how old were you, like 16, 15?
No, I was younger.
You were younger than
You
that.
were like 19
Oh
when
my
you were in the
God, you poor
relationship.
thing.
So
You
what
probably
was
have
I?
trauma from my trauma.
Was I 9, 10?
You were probably 9 or 10.
I was 9 or 10 years
Because
old.
I was 20. Well, no, okay, no, okay. So let's start from the beginning. So I was 18 when I met this guy. So going back to like when we met, we connected on a lot of levels because his family owned a family business. My family had a family business. So we both understood the working dynamic with our families, and we connected highly on that, which then led to obviously a romantic relationship where we were like, oh, this is perfect. Like, you know what I'm going through, I know what you're going through. And it just worked, right? So the first like 4 years, I want to say, were great. We totally understood each other. We built this like strong bond. It was wonderful. But it quickly turned wrong after those 4 years. Now, I'm not going to say like he's a complete narcissist. He turned into a narcissist for sure, but I do want to say that like I don't want to like be here to bash him.
No,
but
definitely not.
He definitely went through his own trauma, which had caused his reaction to our, like the way he reacted to our relationship in general, right? So he went through something very traumatic in his life, which then caused him to try and control whatever he could, and that meant me. And that's where it all started. So we were dating 4 years in. Everything I did became something that he needed to control. So if I wanted to go out with my friends, no, why do you need to go with your friends? Where are you going? What time are you coming home? I don't want you coming home at that time. I want you home at this time. And it started kind of like that. And then it caught down to like, oh, where are you, like, oh, we're going out for dinner. Why are you wearing that? Your shirt is like, there's too much cleavage. Like that doesn't look right. Go, like, to the point where like one day we were about to go out for dinner. I was wearing a really nice shirt that I bought at Dynamite at the time. I was 24 years old. Okay, I thought I looked great. I was so like, woo, I'm young. Let's go out for dinner, whatever. This guy, like, I showed up at his door, and this guy was like, instead of him opening the door and be like, wow, my girlfriend looks great, he looked at me with the maddest face. What are you wearing? And I was like, what do you mean? Do you like it? No, I don't like it. And right away I was pissed. I was like, are you serious right now? And I remember that feeling like it was like a gut-wrenching feeling, like, wow, like I was so excited to go out and that's what you're saying.
Oh my God.
Let me tell you how, like, I thought he was joking. This guy made me get into the car, drove me to the nearest giant tiger.
No.
Giant tiger. Like, I'm sorry. During those days, like, Dynamite was like up here. Why are you driving me to Giant Tiger? Like, that should have been the first red flag right there. Anyways, drives me to Giant Tiger, makes me buy this ugly ass shirt. Okay, like not even my nonna would wear this shirt. tells me to put it on. I'm like, what are you talking about? I started crying. I'm like, are you serious? Like, do I have to? I'm like, I'm not buying this. And he's like, I'll pay for it. Literally, like, and like everyone listening probably thinks like, why did she listen to him? Why didn't she just? But it's so crazy because like when you're going through it, and I'm sure other girls can probably like relate to this, but when you're going through, other girls who are going through a traumatic or toxic relationship like this, when you're going through it, you think you have no choice but to listen and do what the
Mm-hmm.
person says. And especially when that person convinces you that they are looking out for you and they're there for you and they're the only ones who care about you. So you're like, okay, well, he must feel like there's a reason why he wants me to change my shirt. Let me just do it. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, that's just like the gist, like in a nutshell, of like what I dealt with. So that went on for about another 4 years until I want to say the last 2 years of it. I was just like, how do I get out of this? What do I do? This is insane. Like
Mm-hmm.
it got to a point where it was like, okay, he told me not to do this. I won't do it. Oh, he doesn't want me to go to my sister's birthday. I won't do it. But then I realized, I'm like, this is so bad.
Yeah.
So once he realized that I wanted to leave the relationship, he became next level crazy.
Okay, so actually, I do remember that next level crazy because just me even answering the phone to him, like because we used to have the house line, so
Mm-hmm.
he would
Yeah.
call the house line and be like, "Where's your sister?"
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, she's busy right now because I remember you didn't want to talk to
Yeah.
him,
Yeah.
and I was like, she's busy right now, like she can't talk to you. Give her the phone, and he's going off on me
Mm-hmm.
too. I was
Mm-hmm.
18, and then after I remember just snapping on him and being like, "Hey, you can't talk to me like that, and you can't talk to my sister right now," and I like hung up on the phone.
Yeah.
But like, how the heck did you deal with that? Like 8 years or
That's
four
funny that you're,
years?
yeah, that's funny that you're saying that because I don't even remember that. But now when I think about it, I'm like, yeah, that's right. Because we had landlines. And I remember I would not answer my cell phone. I'd be like, okay, I'm not answering the phone. I cannot talk to this guy right now. So yeah, he was calling the house phone. And like now looking back, you're like, what? Oh my God. Like he treated my own sisters like that. Like I would
It's
never put
crazy.
up with that. And I would never let any of you guys put up with that.
But I remember at the beginning too, you like he was so good to you. Like that's why I thought he was a
Mm-hmm.
great guy. And like
Yeah.
he would be like, "Okay, like let's go to the movies." And you guys would take me to the movies with you and like
Yeah.
it was so much fun. I remember having so much fun. I'm like, "Oh, this guy's great" or whatever.
Yeah.
And then like as the years were going on and I was getting older and I was understanding more, it was like I saw way more.
Yeah.
And I was like
Yeah.
opened up to a lot more. And I remember even like not to put like Michelle and Megan out there, but like they were saying a lot of things too. And I was like, guys, no, he's a great guy. Like, what are you guys talking about? But you guys were all so much like older than me that you guys saw it. And
Yeah.
like I wouldn't see that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. No, I know. And like it's funny because I don't even like I think the first 4 years you're right. Like he was like doing so many things that like obviously like my grandparents loved him, my parents loved him. So
Hmm.
I never thought twice
Oh
before I was
yeah,
like,
he was part of the whole family.
yeah.
Like he literally met everyone.
And
And
he
then
fit that mold that our family liked, like that
yeah.
Italian, very nice boy, hardworking, worked for the family. He fit the perfect mold that I was told as a little girl we were looking for. Like this is what you want in a man. This is what
Hmm.
you need to find. Like go and date the first Italian boy that you meet. That's
Yeah.
like helps his dad with everything and all that stuff. But like no one tells you about the other side of that. That
Hmm.
like unfortunately that Italian culture, like there's so much controlling, there's so much, yeah, there's just so much controlling
Old school
behavior, yeah, old
mentality.
school mentality, that like they're underlying the relationships that they have in their
Hmm.
lives, that a woman can easily fall,
But
fall
also, I
into.
wouldn't say it's all Italians because I've met some pretty good Italians, some laid back
Well,
Italians,
that's so,
some like,
yeah, because that's the new generation where everyone's like, no, this is not going to work. But a lot of like the
well, even
southern
like some old
Italians.
schools, I feel like there's some.
But okay, so like think about us growing up. We saw like Nonna Anna, for example. She was in a relationship with a man who was very controlling
Mm-hmm.
and made her do what he wanted her to do. The same thing with our other grandparents, same thing with our own parents. Like it was just like
Mm-hmm.
that's the norm. That's what we were like led to believe is the right type of relationship. So when my ex started getting jealous and controlling, in my mind it was like I must be doing something right. I am getting exactly the relationship that I was told I need to have.
Yeah.
So the fact that he's jealous, I must be really pretty, I must be turning heads, like oh my god, me, this is so great. No, no,
Mm-hmm.
it's not. It's actually the opposite of what you want. You don't want a man to think that he needs to be there to protect you at all times. That just, it's just not functional.
It's not ideal,
It's
I
not
think.
ideal.
I think like just having that controlling man, like no girl does actually want that. Like that's actually
No, definitely
a
not
huge
anymore.
red flag,
And I
you
don't
know,
think it was
but
like again, it didn't start as like controlling. It was more like, oh, he always wants to be around me. He always wants to be with me. He cares about what he doesn't want guys looking at me. Like he must love me. And then that on top of that, he layered that with like, no one loves you the way I'm gonna love you. No one will ever, no other guy's ever gonna care for you the way I care for you. If you have that drilled into your head 24/7, you're gonna start to believe it, right? And like
no, 100%.
that's where I think I went wrong because as a young girl, I was like, he's right. He's the perfect one for me, and he's not. He
But
wasn't.
that's the thing. They're filling our heads. These guys fill our heads with things like you're never gonna find someone like me. But you're never gonna find someone like that because you're just gonna find someone better.
Yeah. Yeah, and like and I can personally say like I mean I'm jumping way ahead, but now that I'm with the husband that I'm with, like he is like a complete angel compared to what I dealt with. Like it's like night and day and like I but it did really teach me a lesson on like this is what love really is. This is what you really need in a partner.
Mm-hmm.
Not someone who's going to bother you. Like I'm telling you, it was over the top. Like there were nights when I was like I'm just going to pretend I went to sleep. I'm not going to call him and I'm just going to pretend I went to bed because I don't want to speak to him tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's how much I just wanted him to like disappear.
See, that's actually like
Yeah.
that's crazy. That's sad. It's
Yeah.
very messy, like very like whoa.
Yeah.
Because it's actually really scary if you think about it.
It
It's
it was.
traumatizing.
Yeah, it was really scary. Like he would find me at work. He would like if I said I'm going to go out after work with my friends tonight. No, you're not. You can't go out like that. Just an example of like how
Yeah.
he treated me. And I'd say, I'm not listening to you. I'm going to do what I want. Like, then I started fighting back. And I was like, I'm going
Mm-hmm.
to do it anyways because you're not the boss of me.
Mm.
And I would hang up the phone. He would call me like one time. I had like 52 missed calls from this guy. 52. I went to work, came back to my phone, 52 missed calls.
Yeah.
Because I didn't answer the phone, he showed up at my work. Like, that's how
No
dangerous it
way.
got. Yes.
Okay, but like I remember the times when he would because you're an athletic therapist, so it's like
Mm-hmm.
you were dealing with what are they called?
Yeah, men
Athletes, all of
athletes,
those like good
men's teams.
fun
Sorry.
things
Yeah.
and like you had a lot of opportunities that he held you back from. And just like what were you doing Team Canada and you were supposed to go away with them. And I remember or the Argos. The
Mm.
Argos one too.
Yeah.
And you were supposed to go like help these teams and I remember this man like just blowing up your phone, blowing up the house line,
Yeah.
like not wanting you to go. Like how did that
Yeah, so I know when
how
I
did you like feel? How did you actually like get through that? Because like those are big opportunities for you.
yes. So those are yeah, those were big opportunities and you have to go for like auditions for those opportunities and interviews. So think about going to an audition or an interview and the person that you think you love most is basically not rooting for you and actually
Mm-hmm.
saying, you better not get this job. You better not get this job. So again, there was like little to no support. So when I would show up to an audition or an interview, I would just completely freeze up because I just would have it in my mind like, oh my God, if I get this job, like he's going to be so mad and I'm going to lose my boyfriend and blah, blah, blah. But I don't care. Like my head would just go back and forth. Like, I don't care. I'm going to do my best. I need to get this job. I need to get this. And it would just go back and forth. Like it was so toxic.
Mm-hmm.
And again, people listening to this are probably like, what is wrong with her? Why did she put herself through this? But when you're going through it, you can't see it.
You
You
don't see
don't
the other
notice what
side.
you're, yeah.
And it's honestly, see, I don't even think you should be blaming yourself for like being like, oh, what are people thinking about me? Because, like you said, you really don't see the other side. And
Mm-hmm.
like, yes, from the outside we see it,
Mm-hmm.
but also he wore a mask. Like, he
Mm-hmm.
literally made mom and dad think like you guys were going to get married. He was the one. He got you that promise ring. Like, he was like, yeah, like it
Did you know what I
literally.
did with that promise ring?
What
I
did you
literally
do?
mailed it back to him. I put it in an envelope and mailed it back because he's like,
Good.
"Give me my fucking promise ring. I want it back." I literally put it in an envelope. I remember
Oh,
my best
yeah, I
friend drove me
remember this.
to Shoppers Drug Mart, Pure Later, whatever that place is, the Canada Post, and we put it in. And I was like, "Bon voyage," and I stuck it in. I was
Oh
like,
my god.
"Yeah, I hope he got it." Now that I'm thinking about it, jeez,
Oh wow.
yeah,
Like let's just also fast forward to like when we were all sitting here in the living room and we're like, what the hell did we do? Mom and dad were away.
Oh, yeah.
And
We should talk about that so that like other girls understand like how bad it can get, and that there's always a way out, because that, so again, my reason for wanting to talk about this is because I do have you guys as younger sisters. I don't know if I'm gonna have nieces one day, but I want girls to know that like there's always a way out and there's always a light on the other side of the tunnel.
mhm.
Like I wasn't in a marriage, but if I was, again, there is still a way out.
Yeah.
There's, you should not have to put up with that no matter what. um
Well, not to mention, like, we've seen it from the outside and like seeing you so upset all the time. We're like, what the hell's going on? And
but
like, you weren't telling us anything.
yeah,
But
because
then we were
yes.
like, okay, like, we need to step up. And as sisters, I think we really did. And like,
Hmm.
we were just like, okay, no, like, you need to
Yes.
deal with this. It's done. And like,
Yes.
you need to end it. And you're like, finally, like, coming to the realization, like,
Yeah.
I have people to back me up. I'm getting the hell out of here now.
Definitely. And honestly, I can say that like all of you guys as my sisters always tried, and my friends always tried to step in. I even remember the first time Michelle tried to step in and say like, this is not for you. And I remember being like, she's right. She's so right. She's so right. And then all of a sudden he found out that she was trying to pull me away, and he's like, no, it's because she doesn't understand. She's too young to understand how much I love you. And
Mm-hmm.
again, I was pulled back in. I'm like, oh, he's right. No, no, no. Like she's so young. Like she doesn't understand this yet.
Mm-hmm.
But like then it happened again. Megan said something, and then Nancy kept saying stuff. And then when it finally happened with you at the end, where he was yelling at you, my youngest sister, who literally did not understand, I was like, no, this, okay, this is really getting to a level where it's going to become completely impossible if I don't break free now.
Yeah.
And again, that night that it finally all ended, you were the one who was taking the brunt of the yelling. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. um and then a good friend of ours was there to say, no, like you need to call the police. You want to put a
Yeah.
stop to this, you need to call the police. So yeah, it did get very bad. It got to that point. But I did that. We called the police, and it was like a huge weight was lifted off my
Lifted.
shoulders. Like I can't
Mm-hmm.
even describe how I felt the day after. Like most women after an 8-year relationship would probably cry or like be sad. Guys, like I was like, wow, I felt like a new person.
Yeah. You like had you were getting your old self back. Like you were
Yeah.
becoming your old self. You're actually living like that life that you missed for
Yeah.
so long. Like you missed all your early 20s and like you're
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
okay, time to live a little bit
I
kind of
know.
thing.
And like I'm not gonna sit here and say I regret it, because like I definitely learned, and like I'm thankful for the lessons that I learned, and it brought me to where I am today, where I have like an amazing man by my side, and I can rely on him for everything. And I know that like if I say, hey, I want to go out with my friends, like he is like 100% supportive. Like you need this, go step out,
Mm-hmm.
go to the gym, like go do
Mm-hmm.
your thing. And like I like still to this day I'm like, how did I get so lucky to find a guy who's just like, no, go take some time for yourself. Like even now with kids, he's like, no, 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 you can go. Like don't
Mm-hmm.
worry, we got this. And like just that feeling, sometimes when I think back and like I'm like, oh my god, I would have never had that. I would have been one of those wives who would have had to stay in the house, clean, cook, do all the stuff for the kids, and still like probably have to hide in the house so that no one
Mm-hmm.
talked to me. Like that's how bad it was getting.
No, yeah.
So again, as I don't regret it. I mean, I don't like the fact that I like had so much emotional stress and trauma, but I don't regret the lesson that I learned.
Like you
Yeah.
came out better than anything
Hmm.
by the end of it.
Yeah.
Okay, so just like you saying like jealousy and stuff and how like that guy was, to me though, I always thought jealousy meant like they do love you and like you want a guy to be jealous. So like I remember even being out with like my ex and like this was in Chicago too, and like this man came right up to me and like was like, "Hey, like how's it going?" and stuff. And like my ex just kind of like stood there and was like, "Hey, like what's going on?" kind of thing. Like he didn't really stand up and do anything about it or whatever. And like if he saw people checking me out, like he never really did much about it. So I was like I want you to do something. Like I want you to like stand up for me and stuff. Like wouldn't you think like jealousy is the norm? Like you want them to be jealous?
I definitely think that some level of jealousy, like a man being jealous of other men checking you out or whatever, I do think that some level is healthy. But again, I want to stress the word healthy. Like it has to be constructive jealousy. It can't be like, oh, that guy checked you out. Why was he checking you out? Like it's not your fault if a guy was checking you out,
Mm-hmm.
or that guy was checking you out. You have to wear baggy pants next time. Like, no.
Mm-hmm.
But it's okay for a guy to step in and be like, hey, like that guy was checking my girl out. Like, that makes me feel jealous. You don't need to do anything about it. You don't need to get mad at your girlfriend about it. Um, but it's nice sometimes for a girl to hear, like, yeah, like, my boyfriend like thinks I'm attractive and like is upset that other men think I'm attractive. Not upset, but like, you know what I mean? Like a healthy level. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if I'm explaining this properly.
Yeah.
Um,
No, I get it. Like you want them to
yeah,
like stand up,
like
but
maybe
at
a
the
little
same
bit.
time, yeah. Because
But you're
honestly,
right. It's not so the word norm when we're little girls, we're told that like these stories, like these fairy tale stories of like you're the perfect little princess, and then there's like Prince Charming, and he's coming to your rescue, and he's gonna protect you, and all that stuff. Like we watch these Disney movies, and we think that like this guy always has to be there to protect you from all of
yeah.
these evil villains that are trying to get you.
Mm-hmm.
So you grow up thinking that like this big guy has to protect me. No, like again, there's like a certain level of it that's healthy, but it doesn't need to go to the extreme like my relationship went to. So, like you, for example, in Chicago, I think what you were looking for was like that reaction from your ex to be like, wow, why is this guy checking out my girlfriend? And then you were probably like, oh wow, like he appreciates me, he appreciates my beauty, my boyfriend appreciates my beauty, and like the fact that other guys are looking at me. But that's it, done, end
Mm-hmm.
of story. Like you're not
Mm-hmm.
going to go back to your hotel after and be like, why weren't you, like, no, like it shouldn't even be a
Well, I
fight.
remember
Sorry.
even just walking. No, 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 you're right. I just remember walking in Chicago and like apparently like there's a group of guys checking me out. I didn't see this or whatever. And my ex actually did get mad at me and was like, I don't know why you're walking away. Like there's a whole group over there checking you out. And like, what am I supposed to do about this and stuff? And I'm just like,
You're like,
like
run up quicker beside me, like,
yeah, like actually like stand by me. I don't know.
yeah,
I just feel like that like you said, like that's not my fault.
yeah,
I can't control what people look at.
yeah, definitely not your fault. No, no. And
And
like again,
you
for
need that healthy, I think you need that healthy reaction of like
yes,
even if you want to just stand by me and be like, okay, well like hold my hand or something and just walk away.
yes.
Like sure, that's healthy to me. But like if you're going to be like yelling at me like why aren't you walking next to me? Well, like that's not my fault.
Yeah, no, and definitely like it shouldn't be like that. Like like I think if you see like another girl checking out your man and you're feeling a bit jealous, put your arm around your man or like show your man some love in front of this other girl and and then she'll be like, "Oh, okay, he's taken back off," kind of thing.
Mhm.
Um and that's like again, like I don't know if I'm explaining it properly, but you do like I think in relationships there should be a certain level of like healthy jealousy, if you want to call it that, but
Mhm.
not nothing over the top. Like that doesn't need to be. You should be able to trust your partner, right?
Yeah.
And when you're in a loving relationship, like a real loving relationship, which again I'm able to like thankfully be in now, like you don't feel that anymore.
Mhm.
It's there's like this like underlying trust that you have, and you don't need to worry about that jealousy thing. So going back to like my past relationship, obviously the structure, the foundation wasn't strong enough if this person is constantly jealous
Mhm.
and upset about like who are you talking to, what are you doing.
And at the end of the day, that's really just not healthy and it's not a healthy relationship. That kind of jealousy, anyways. And I don't think anyone should have to put up with that. Okay, guys, let's jump into a little mini segment. This one's called Damage Control. What helped us cope? So, Emery, what would you say? What got you through this time? Like,
So the rough time when I was like actually in the thick of it
yeah,
with
when
him.
you're in like the deep of it.
Yeah, I hate to admit this because at the time it was like I had no choice. It was survival mode. Um, I lied a lot, which is
Who?
went against all my morals as a person and my morals in a relationship. I lied to him a lot. So it got to the point where he's like, I don't want you working there. again, I was an athletic therapist, so I worked in a lot of fitness facilities, that sort of thing. He didn't want me working there, but I still wanted to pursue my dreams.
Mm-hmm.
So I would lie and I would say, "Oh no, actually, I'm not working at the gym this weekend. I'm working for my parents because our family owned the restaurant, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm working for my parents. No, 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 I'm down here." But when he started checking up on me, that's when it started to get scary. And I had no choice one day but to like admit, like, hey, I lied. And that just made everything worse because he
Mm-hmm.
ended up checking up on me. I wasn't at the pizzeria, I was at a different job. So the lying made things worse. So that's how I coped. I coped for a while with lying and still doing what I wanted to do. But then like, it clued into my brain. I was like, I can't lie forever. And if I
Mm-hmm.
still want to pursue my dreams, I can't do that with this person. Um, so that's where it became like, I know where I need to be. Where I need to be is broken up with this guy, and I need to figure out how to get there. I didn't know how to get there. I didn't know what to do to get rid of him, but a part of me was like, I will get there soon and I will be able to leave this person and not have to worry about lying anymore, not have to worry about going against my own dreams and my own career path and all that. So
Well,
yeah.
did you talk to anyone though? Because I know, like, with me, obviously, like, I didn't know much. So, like, who were you talking to? Who, like, helped you out there? Because,
No, I'm not. I wasn't doing any therapy at the time. Um, I probably should have been. That could have helped me get through it. I did start meeting different people. And one guy that I met, he became a good friend of mine. We won't name names here. Became a good friend of mine. His mom was a social worker or an ex social worker. And she talked to me once and was like kind of guided me through a few things, and that's kind of what got the ball rolling. So I wouldn't say I seeked out therapy, which I should have. But at least I spoke to a social worker in general, and she kind of like guided me, like, this is the way that you have to go, this is
mm-hmm.
what you have to do. So that's what got the ball rolling. But I'm not gonna lie, it took like 2 years to finally build up enough courage to actually pull the trigger.
Well, yeah, because even I remember back then, like, therapy was not really a thing. It was like,
Mm-mm.
I just remember, like, going to therapy was like a weakness or something. Like,
Yeah.
it was, you were looked down upon kind of thing. Like,
Well,
you
in our
weren't
family
supposed
also,
to.
it's like, you better not go to a therapist. They're going to put you on medication. You don't want to
Yeah.
go on that medication. Yeah. So that was one of the reasons I was afraid to look at like talking to a therapist. I talked to my mom a lot. My mom was super helpful. Um, so that was good. So it's not like I didn't talk to family members. Obviously I talked to Nancy. My friends at some point eventually just started being like, listen, I don't think I can be friends with you anymore. Like, I don't agree with this relationship you're in. And at the time I was mad at them, but like now looking back, I'm like, no, they were just trying to help me. Like,
Yeah.
they were giving me that ultimatum to try and help me get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I do like look back thinking like, they were trying to be good friends. I don't know if that's how I would deal with it. Like, if I had a friend who was going through it, there's no way I'd be like, I'm not going to talk to you anymore, because I believe that girls who are going through it definitely need the support.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but again, that was certain
They did what's
tactics.
best for
Yeah,
them.
they did what
And
was not best for them, but what they thought would work.
yeah.
They never left my side. Like, they still, even though I didn't leave the relationship, they still stuck by me. Maybe weren't as close, but
So, being this girl in this situation and at the young age of like 19 that you were, what is some advice that you would probably give a girl that might be in your shoes right now?
so I like what you said about therapy. I think therapy is so important, especially when you're going through something where you're like, no, like, I can't listen to my friends or my sisters because, like, what if they're wrong? What if he is telling me the truth and he does love me? That's why he's treating me this way. I think a therapist is someone who is external from the entire situation, who can tell you what they think, and they can help you shape and mold your thought process to look at the whole situation in a different way as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely would recommend seeking out therapy. And it's so easy to do that. All you have to do is go online and look up different therapy clinics in Toronto or wherever you are and take a shot at one. And if it doesn't work with the first therapist, try another one. And if it doesn't work with the second one, try another one again. Like, just keep
Yeah,
looking.
no,
You'll find that
definitely.
perfect therapist who will help you through something like this. Because again, it's important to talk it out. Because
Talk it out.
once you put these thoughts out into the universe, you'll realize, what am I doing?
Mm-hmm.
And like, oh
And
my,
yeah, like you
yeah.
said, like talking to mom and stuff, yes, you can talk to your family members, but you need an outsider's perspective, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Just I remember just like talking to you guys and stuff, and like, yeah, like you guys are telling me everything I want to hear, like it all makes sense.
Hmm.
But getting that outsider's perspective was like a huge help. It makes you open your eyes to way more.
Yeah, and especially an outsider who's a professional, because I'm not saying that like they're perfect at giving advice, therapists, but they are professionals, so they do have like they know how to like guide the thought process and help you through different things like this, like trauma, for example, in a productive and functional way versus like you leaving and resorting to things like alcohol and drugs or whatever it is that numbs you, right? Like some
Hmm.
girls and guys go that route, and I don't know if that's helpful. Like I'm not saying it's not, but I don't know if
Try not
it's
to do it, but
stay from away from drugs, kids.
stay in school.
Stay in school.
Okay, so now you got out of it. You saw the light. You came out on top. You got out of that relationship, that toxic relationship. You met a guy. He's a great guy. And now you have like two kids. Like how are you doing? Like how are you feeling about this now? Like does it feel long ago? Like how did you feel coming out of all of that and now
The
you're living your
crazy,
dream?
yeah, the crazy thing is like I don't even look at it anymore of like something that I went through myself. I look at it from like a more holistic approach. Like, okay, I was dating this guy who obviously went through his own family trauma that caused him to react this way and caused him to act this way. And like, it caused me to, like, the whole snowball effect. Now,
Mhm.
having kids, especially boys, I don't want to villainize this guy because I don't want all men to be villainized because not all men are the same. It's just like not all women are the same, and not all guys are going to be like this. And I want to say that there's definitely like a reason for someone to act the way they act and treat others the way they treat others. And it all comes from like their family upbringing and the family dynamic at home. So again, it's making me look at things differently with the way I raise my children and the way I react to everything from like if they're misbehaving or if we have like I don't know an urgent matter at home, like the way I deal with it is going to be different because I don't want to instill that like crazy environment that like we were raised in, for example, not us, but like I'm saying in general, like maybe my ex partner, his like environment was always like there was always some kind of tension, and maybe that's why like he reacted certain ways and whatnot. So, anyways, when I raise my kids, I'm going to try my hardest. I mean, it's not easy. Raising children is very hard, but I do want to try my hardest to like minimize that. And like, if they have a problem, talk through it with this kid and like be like, hey, like, how do you feel about this? And how can you fix it? And like,
Mhm.
what are the solutions? What are the possibilities? Let's do
Mhm.
this. How do we treat others?
Mhm.
What do we expect from others versus, or like, what do we want from others versus what do we expect? You can't expect others to do what you say just because you're
Yes.
saying it. And you know what I mean? So, all these little things, like, there's just so many factors that play a role in raising a human that are so complicated, but it is my goal to try and encompass that in the best way
Well, yeah,
possible so
you're
that
letting them have their own voice and letting them speak. I think because
exactly.
we as kids didn't use our voices, we didn't stand up, we didn't
Yes,
speak up.
that's a good
We
point, Rach. Yeah.
were trying to always be respectful and
Mm-hmm.
not
Mm-hmm.
talk when like we
Yes.
weren't like chosen kind of thing.
Yes,
And I
exactly.
think nowadays, like letting our kids speak and
Yes.
standing up for themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, again, I was raised old school, so I still believe in like a certain amount of respect when you're talking to people. But you're right. Like you don't need to sit back and listen to what someone else is saying and doing everything someone else tells you to do. That's just not how it works. And
I think exactly that's the point that we're trying to say. And honestly, the trauma just doesn't disappear from all of that, right? 8 years of emotional abuse leave scars. And to add to all of that pressure of growing up in a strict Italian household where appearances matter more than emotions, like, yeah, that's a lot to unpack. I would say, like, we weren't raised to talk about mental health. We were raised to keep quiet, keep the family name clean, and always, always put others first. So learning how to set boundaries, choose herself, and actually be her own person. So Annemarie, you did it. You got out of it. You're living your life, and that's honestly amazing.
Yeah, and like you said, like the trauma just doesn't end there. There's still stuff that I'm working through on my own, a lot of like anger issues or whatever, because when you're going through emotional abuse for 8 years plus, like you start to react on everything. Like someone says to you, like, oh, don't wear that. And you're like, what do you mean don't wear that? What?
Like, no.
Like, I like this. So what I'm saying is that, like, you need to work on yourself. Like you can't just come out of that like thinking everything's going to be great. So I definitely encourage like people to talk to someone if they are going through something like this. Um, talk to a therapist, talk to whoever. Like there's so many even free resources out there through the city of Toronto that you can contact to get
Okay,
some
yeah.
help.
Talk to your
Even if it's just,
doctor.
yeah, talk to your doctor. They can help you out.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually a good point because your doctor can set you up with a free therapist through OHIP. So yeah, I think that's the most important message throughout this whole thing. Like if something's not right in your relationship and you feel like something's not right or you feel a little bit off, talk to someone.
Get the support.
Get the
And
support.
yeah, talk to someone and
Yeah, just talk. Just talk to someone. How many times did we say talk to someone? You know what I'm saying. You get the gist. Okay.
But yes, this podcast is not a mental health support system.
And I am not a doctor.
Our life is a joke.
Our
We're
life's
just
a
trying to get
joke.
through it just like you. Do not use us as your mental health
I am
coping
not a mental health
mechanism.
professional.
Go
No.
out there, get help. You're not alone. And yes.
Thank you, Dr. Rachel. I mean, you're not a doctor. Stop.
I'm not a doctor.
Stop. Thank you for having me, honestly. This
Thank you
felt
for
like a
being
therapy
on
session
here.
in itself.
Well, you'll be back soon.
Thanks.
So no worries. Thanks for listening. If you've ever been in a toxic relationship or you're trying to break out of an old pattern, just know it does get better. You are not alone. I'm Rachel, and this has been My Life's a Joke. Don't forget to rate, subscribe, and maybe send this episode to someone who needs to hear it. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk soon.